Hey teachers, I want to share with you one of the new practice activities I've been doing with my students this term. I'm teaching a grammar and writing class right now, and if you're anything like me, you have students who need a ton of practice with each grammar point, but can get kind of dazed and bored if you spend too much time sitting at the desks working on grammar. So I've been trying to incorporate more engaging activities that either practice their spoken grammar more or get them up and moving around the classroom. So one of the ways that I've really tried to get them up and moving around the classroom is by doing wall slips. I take small pieces of paper like this and post them around the classroom. So I might use 15 to 20 of them because I have a small class right now. I only have 7 students. If you have a larger class, you might want 20 or 30 slips around the room. And some of them are small, like this one, with just one blank to fill in. And some of them are really big, like this full page conversation activity, where they have a bunch of different spots to fill in. And I post them all around the room and allow students to work on those activities either in pairs or in small groups or individually, because some students like to work individually. So they go around the classroom and they start writing in their answers on each sheet, directly on the paper that's on the wall. And while they're working, I'm walking around the classroom seeing which ones are completed. If one is completed totally correctly, I'll put a check mark. But usually, especially if I'm doing some of these longer activities, there are going to be some mistakes the first time. So I think when I did this particular activity, the first time the students completed it, there were 4 mistakes. So I wrote at the bottom 4 mistakes. And then students really get interested. So they go back to that paper and they see there are 4 mistakes, but there are maybe 10 different blanks here. So I need to figure out which one of these blanks is wrong and how to fix it. This is where they really start to discuss, to disagree, and to find the right answers. They will explain why they think their answer is right as opposed to their group member's answer. And they'll open up their books and say, this is the rule. This is why we need to write this answer. And sometimes they will change the answers to be correct. Sometimes they'll even create a new mistake, and that really drives the interest in finding the correct answer. So students walk around the room and I check their answers and write the number of mistakes at the bottom. And when they've fixed all of the mistakes and they have all of it correct, they'll get that check mark. But it takes a little while sometimes, and usually by the end of the activity, you have a big group of students gathered around one paper discussing which answer is wrong. Why is it wrong? If they're having a really hard time, I'll circle which answer has the mistake so that they can really focus on that. But other than that, I really try to step back and let them discuss it and figure it out on their own. It's been a great way for them to engage with the material in a more interesting way. And one of the great ways for those more individual, quiet learners to access this activity is that afterwards, they can go and redo all of these activities in their textbook. So if they want more time to think and review and understand, they can go back and see the activities that were difficult for them again. Now, toward the end of the activity, I ask the students to draw a star on any of these papers that were really difficult for them or they want to study together. And I'll go around and collect the papers from the wall that have stars on them, or any ones that I think we need to review. And I'll put them under my document camera and we'll review them. If you don't have a document camera, the activities are from the textbook and you can open up and look at the ones that were really difficult there. So we can talk together as a class, and by that point, students have practiced explaining to each other why a certain answer is right. So a lot of times they can do that work when we're back together as a class. I really hope you'll try out this activity because it's been really beneficial for my students and created a more engaging classroom environment. If you like this activity, check out the other videos on my channel and please subscribe. I'd love to hear some of your activity ideas and how you keep your students engaged in difficult grammar classes.